applications. And in addition to having a software development background as a Microsoft certified solutions developer, he's an accomplished speaker and educator. Over the past 8 years, his passion and vision have led PioneerRX from a simple idea to one of the most successful and renowned pharmacy systems in the United States. Folks, he last year spoke about David and Goliath. You guys remember that story? And he did such a sensational job. If you haven't seen it, it's about 10 minutes. Go to their website, check it out. It was so phenomenal. I mean, this guy, I need him on stage. Not as a vendor, he's a sensational speaker. So please give a level 10 welcome to Mr. Jeff T.
So a year ago, we explored the story of David and Goliath. Together, we learned that this was a story about innovation. David, armed with a sling, one of the most innovative weapons of that time, was able to slay a giant of an opponent. In the last year, many a David has been successful with PioneerRX in slaying their Goliath. Steve Pace, who's here today, will tell you that in the first year with PioneerRX, during a time of reduced reimbursements and generic prices that went all over the place, improved his profit with Pioneer 25%. The problem is that the redcoats are coming. And wouldn't it be great if we could choose a champion and settle it? Can you imagine that we chose a Bob Lomanak and they choose some soulless soldier? Bob takes a little PioneerRX and swings it over his head and releases it and slays the enemy. And the crowd shouts, "Huzzah!" or "Hooray!" and the enemy retreats. If only it was that easy. You see, first they invaded our neighborhoods and tried to outbuild us. But the customers still came. Second, they tried $4 plans, giving away cash to get people to transfer their prescriptions. They tried to outprice us, but the customers still came. As a matter of fact, pharmacies will tell me today that one of the best places to build a new pharmacy is right on the corner with a Walgreens, with a Rite Aid, with a CVS, and a Walmart in the back. Right? Because their practices will send customers to our pharmacy. They couldn't defeat us with service or innovation. So today they're coming at us with backroom deals and closed networks. So how do we come together to defeat this enemy? The new realization of this battle is Bob Lomanak in Mississippi can be as successful as possible. He can do everything his PDS coach tells him to do. He can do everything right. But if enough other independents in Mississippi aren't successful, Bob's going to fail. So what can we do? Number one, we need to find any way possible not to support the redcoats. I had the privilege of going to Boston in the last year and visiting the Boston Tea Party Museum. They do a reenactment there. And this was a time when Great Britain, a greedy Great Britain, was relentlessly taxing the Americans. To show their anger, Samuel Adams and a group known as the Sons of Liberty, dressed up as American Indians, boarded the ships in the night and threw this taxable tea into the ocean to destroy it. In the Boston Tea Party Museum, we were encouraged to reenact that. We actually got to take crates and throw them into the ocean, and we were encouraged to yell, "Huzzah!" which was hooray that they used at that time. How many of you received a letter from the redcoats trying to tax your tea? Are you paying that tax? Are you buying from their wholesaler? Are you supporting organizations that they control? I encourage you today, if you are, to throw that tea into the ocean and to yell, huzzah. Number 2, we need to come together in groups. Man was created with a unique ability to handle extremely dangerous conditions and insufficient resources. He wasn't physically equipped to do that. There's no armor. There's no fur to protect me from the environments. No built-in weapons. Early man was successful because of their unique ability to come together and solve problems. So once again, thank God you're here. Shall we get a Sons of Liberty level 10 huzzah? Huzzah! Groups like PDS, NCPA, your pharmacy vendor user groups, and your local pharmacy association are places you need to be. If those places need to be better, you need to make them better. Zig Ziglar, one of my heroes, was a wildly successful Christian and husband and father and salesman and entrepreneur. And one of his favorite sayings that he had was, you can have anything that you want in this life if you just help enough other people get what they want. Are you here today thinking about taking what you've learned back to help somebody else? Stephen Covey will tell you that the best way to learn something is to learn it with a mindset to teach it. I encourage you today to learn it and teach it to somebody else. How many of you, with a show of hands, have actually taught something to another pharmacy? Wow! So we have a round of applause for our Sons of Liberty. Last, we need to focus on the why we do what we do. Many times in the past, a potential customer will come to the booth and they'll say, tell me about Pioneer. And I'll say, well, you know, we're the fastest growing independent pharmacy system in the United States today. We believe in integrating features in the workflow of the pharmacy system in order to help pharmacies be more efficient and save them money. Although that may be true, it's very cold. Where's the passion in that? Why do we build pharmacy systems? Let's try something different. At PioneerRX, we love our parents and our grandparents, our neighbors and our friends. We're passionate about using innovation to improve patients' health and therefore improve their lives. We believe that if we're successful, the independent pharmacy will flourish, not only financially, but as a profession that people want to have. We call this making more money and having more fun. So many times in that same conversation, I'll ask a pharmacist, well, tell me about your pharmacy. What do you think they start off with? Well, I fill about 500 scripts a day. It's great. It's a good pharmacy, but it's pretty cold. Where's the inspiration in that? We have to fill the scripts because that's how we're paying the bills today. But during the filling of those scripts, we have to find a way to create healthy patients. A really good friend of mine from high school is a doctor. Can you imagine me seeing him maybe at a family at a school reunion, or maybe seeing him when he comes home and saying, tell me about your practice. And him saying, well, you know, I write 500 prescriptions a day. Is that a doctor that you want to go to? Is that a doctor that you want to be? Health and Human Services has set a goal for 85% of fee-for-service payments to be related to quality measures in 2016. 90% in 2018. When they say quality measures, they mean healthy patients, and they mean you. Can you imagine the paradigm shift in your pharmacy? If the mindset of you and all of your staff is, why do we do it? We do it to create healthy patients. What do you think differently? How do you look at somebody differently when they walk through the door? What do you measure? What do you count? What do you do? I love a preacher's story. He talks about the devil and the devil having trouble getting people into hell. So he brings a convention together of his demons and he says, what are we going to do to improve our numbers? One demon raises his hand. Let's tell him there's no God. The devil kind of scratches his chin and says, no, they're not going to believe that. You look at a newborn baby or you look at flowers in the springtime, God's all around them. They're not going to believe that. Another demon stands up. Woo, woo, woo. Let's tell them there's no hell. The devil thinks about for a second and says, no, they're not going to believe that either. They see God, they believe in a God. They're going to believe he's telling the truth when he says there's a hell. A few minutes later, kind of quiet, another demon stood up and said, let's tell them there's no hurry. And the gates of hell overflowed. I tell you today, there is a hurry. Number one, we need to find any way possible not to support the redcoats. Their end game does not include you. Number two, we need to come together in groups. We need to focus on learning in order to teach others, and we need to help as many other pharmacies be successful as we possibly can. Number three, we need to get into the passion of the why. Pharmacy system is the heart of your business. If the pharmacy system is in the way of you reaching your goals today, if you continually find yourself having to buy add-on after add-on after add-on to get the products that you need to run your business, it's time to think about something new. I encourage you to come by the PioneerRX booth and let us show you how we can change your future and help save us from the redcoats. I'd like to once again leave you with the words of Thomas Paine as our country fought its own war against the redcoats. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will in this crisis shrink from the service of his country. But he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman, for tyranny like hell is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us, that the greater the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. Huzzah!